Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is dustinkreis, and today we're going to discuss Halo 4. Now, I know I said I was going to play Deadly Premonition next, and I'm still working on it, but I picked this thing up, and I wasn't even planning on picking it up on launch. I was going to let it get cheap and pick it up then, but I've just heard like so much about this game, and I'm a huge Halo fan, and I'll go through that in a minute, but I just had to pick it up, and then it was sitting there staring me down on the shelf. So I was like, you know what, I'm at a good stopping point in Deadly Premonition. Let me just throw this in and let me experience this game. And without a doubt in my mind, this is the best Halo game yet. I am just thoroughly blown away by this game. And for anyone who thought 343 Studios or 343 Industries could not take up the mantle of Bungie, you know, wow. It's one thing if they just picked it up and continued the games on, but to pick this game up and not only preserve what was great about Halo, but actually make it better, is something else entirely. And I'll have to look up and see who these people actually are at 343. But as far as I know, this is their first game that they've put out, and they've really knocked it out of the park with this one. So, before we get into Halo, Halo 4, let me just kind of talk about my history with the series a little bit, because this game right here made me buy an Xbox. I played this at a friend's house, and I had so much fun fighting the Covenant and playing it that I had to go out and buy an Xbox. And ever since then, you know, I went out to the midnight launch for Halo 2, got it. Really enjoyed it, although I didn't really care for playing as the Arbiter. You know, to me, it's more Master Chief's story, but I understand why they put the Arbiter in there. And then Halo 3, I kind of found Halo 3 to be a little bit of a letdown. I know a lot of people really found it to be a letdown, but I don't know, there's just something about it that never really captured me the way the first game did. ODST really, and this was my favorite Halo game until Halo 4 came out. ODST really shook things up by having you play as a human character. No Spartans, no nothing. You really had to rethink how you played the game. And I really loved the jazzy noir aspect to New Mombasa. That's really hard to say for some reason. You know, going around there and trying to fight. You had to be a lot more stealthy in this game. And then finally, Halo Reach. I really found Reach to be diminishing returns. There's just something about it. I was, you know, playing through it, and it just went through the motions, and it never really captured me, again, the way the first Halo did, or even ODST. And I was really kind of just, I don't know, I guess just kind of disappointed in it. So, you know, with that being said, I was really kind of like, you know, Halo 4, I'll just pick it up when it gets cheap. And then everyone was talking about what a reinvention this is for the Halo series. So I had to go get it, and I threw it in, and like I said, man, this is the best Halo game in years. Specifically for me, for the storyline. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there are big multiplayer people. I'm not. I didn't even put the second disc in, didn't load it up or anything. I don't have a gold subscription. I don't really care about going online and getting teabagged by, you know, 12-year-old kids as they kill me. I don't care. I really like to experience Halo for its very rich universe and very rich story. I really love the world that has been created for this game. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into it, and let's talk about this. And we got to start off with the storyline, because you know, it took everything that Halo 3 kind of left open and just ran with it. I mean, ran with it. At the end of Halo 3, I wasn't sure where they could really take the series. You know, the war with the Covenant was over. And here we are 4 years later, and Master Chief gets thawed out of cryo by Cortana because the Covenant is getting ready to attack the derelict Forward Unto Dawn. And, you know, it sets off this whole new universe, basically, because we're getting to explore something that the only was really kind of mentioned in the first games, and that is the Forerunners. Finally, we're getting to see what the Forerunners are, what their technology is capable of, and getting to explore that aspect of the game, of the universe. And you know, Master Chief goes off on this adventure, ends up awakening basically the seed. Well, I don't know if he really awakens it. It kind of awakens on its own, but the sort of the seeds of our own destruction with the Prometheans. And when you find out what the Prometheans actually are, it is kind of cool, and it really kind of solidifies the entire backstory of Halo in a very very nice way. But you know, you have all these great grand sci-fi war type things going on, and what I found to be the best part of the storyline was something that's always kind of been hinted at in the earlier games, but now we're finally getting to see it in full, you know, in full view, and that is the story between John and Cortana. And you know, these two have been on, you know, through 3 huge adventures, and to finally see sort of a real, how do I want to put this? Can Halo be a love story? Yes. Some real emotion between the two of them. You know, you kind of got that in the earlier games, but it really feels like we're working towards something here. And if you really pay attention to certain aspects of the storyline, I think you can kind of figure out how this is going to go in the future games. But yeah, there's something very human and very touching about this. And this is the first Halo game that by the end of it I felt really choked up at, you know, because it is such a wonderfully developed storyline. And it's really believable that, you know, these two, you know, despite one being an artificial intelligence and the other one being sort of a super soldier, I guess you just can't help, you know, who you love, you know. And it's really kind of a tragic story because, as you know, Cortana is going into rampancy, which is her program has been running for too many years, and she's literally thinking herself to death. And there is a way to save her, but of course, all of this, you know, huge war really gets in between John's ability to save her. So on the one hand, you have the big, like, John is fighting to, of course, save humanity from the Didact, which you'll find out who he is when you play. But you really get the sense that the urgency of the battle for John, he just wants to wrap this shit up so he can get back to Earth and save Cortana. And yeah, really a fantastic storyline. And it's probably one of the most surprising parts about Halo 4 that you know, this game that sort of ushered in the how do I want to put it? The broness of video gaming, where everyone's like, oh yeah, we gotta play these first-person shooters and shoot at each other, you know, online and all this, you know, that really masculine, macho kind of game, has such a touching and heartfelt storyline that I just wonder how, like, some of these guys that play through the campaign, is it really going to affect them, or they're going to go, oh, that's stupid, this is gay, you know? But really a fantastic storyline. If you guys love a good yarn, especially a good touching storyline, Halo 4 definitely has it. The gameplay. Tired and true, tested, and battle-worn Halo, you know what I mean? If you've played one Halo game, you know how to play these ones. The only thing that really changes is the introduction of the Promethean weapons. And I felt like there was kind of a learning curve with those, because when you first get them, you're going to be like, man, these things kind of suck. They feel very underpowered compared to both the Covenant and the human weapons especially. I always love using human weapons in Halo. I've never really been a big fan of the Covenant weapons. Give me an assault rifle and a DMR and I'll get shit done, you know. But the game, like most Halos, you know, human weapons are hard to find, and you have to make do with alien weaponry. And this one really, you know, pushes you to use the Promethean weapons, so you have to learn how to use them. And you know, about the 3/4 through the game, I was actually figuring out how to use the pistol effectively, and how to use the, you know, in what conditions should I use a suppressor, and how important it is to have the light rifle. You know, it really does kind of throw you a learning curve with these new weapons, and that's nice. It keeps it fresh. It makes this game feel very fresh. Is there anything else that, you know, it really incorporates everything from the previous Halos. You have the armor from Halo Reach, the armor upgrades. You have the flight, one stage, a very nice homage to Star Wars with a flight stage like you had in Halo Reach. All the vehicles from the previous games have returned. Of course, they're upgraded, souped up, look different, that kind of thing. But yeah, if you've played one Halo, you know how to play this game, and I think that it's just like slipping on a glove. I usually play these games through on normal first, so I get the storyline, and then go back through and play them in the harder difficulty levels. But this one, I just started off in heroic, and it just slipped on like a glove, and I was able to go right into it. I had to invert my controls, of course, but eventually I was strafing and doing all that kind of stuff with ease that I used to be able to do with all the other games. So there is new stuff in here. The game acclimates you to it well. The pacing is really great and really kind of throws you into situations that you feel like you can handle. But yeah, if you've played one Halo game, you know how to play this. The graphics are absolutely gorgeous, and I would be hard pressed to find a game that looks better than Halo 4. Really. Everything like the aliens, the Covenant, the Prometheans, all that looks really nice. What really sets the graphics apart is when you see a human character, and you see finally we're starting to get to a point where we have living eyes on these characters, and you watch these people, and in some scenes I was hard pressed to tell the difference between a real person and these sort of digitized people that I was interacting with. They look that good, and the expressions, the facial expressions, really kind of trick you into thinking that these are real people. But like I said, everything looks really great. The Promethean stages look very Tron-esque with all the light pipings and things like that. The outdoor stages that you fight in look absolutely gorgeous. The first time, it's like the first time you dropped in on the Halo ring on the first Halo, and you saw that huge world kind of spread out before you. There is a moment like that where you drop onto the Forerunner world and you see all this crazy Forerunner technology off in the distance. It really is kind of a breathtaking scene. And yeah, hard pressed. I don't know of a game out there that looks better than Halo 4. I really don't. It looks gorgeous, and there's not all that pop-in. Halo's been kind of notorious for like texture pop-ins and things like that, especially Halo 2 was really bad with it. I think 3 had that problem too. I never saw texture pop-in at all. It just ran. So it's always been kind of funny. Halo's never been like the prettiest game out there, but now it is. It's like, I don't even know a game that looks better than Halo 4. The music and the sound. I really enjoy the soundtrack to Halo 4, but at the same time, I really miss Marty O'Donnell's score. He really put in some very eclectic sounding instruments and combinations of things. I would go back and listen to that Halo 2 soundtrack a lot, and there's so many great tracks on there, and the music was always very somber. And while Halo 4 still has very somber music, at parts, the music almost sounds too electronic and too, again, Tron-esque, which makes sense because you're fighting robotic enemies in this one with the Prometheans. But at the same time, like, I really miss the organicness of Marty O'Donnell's score. I don't know what it is, but maybe I just need to go. Maybe I need to go buy the soundtrack to this and actually listen to it without a bunch of guns blazing and things like that. The guns themselves sound really good. This is the first time that the assault rifle really sounds like it has some punch to it. I'm really surprised at how good these things sound. Some of the beam weapons still sound a bit light. You can hear enemies off in the distance. That's very nice to sort of warn you what's coming up and things like that. But from a sound standpoint, everything sounds... Halo's always sounded really good, except for some of the guns sounding a little bit weak. But this one really kind of bumps up the decibels a bit. And, yeah, really, really nice sound. Really nice music, but again, I miss Marty O'Donnell's score. So, yeah, Halo 4, guys, this is a real surprise for me, because I just figured I'd buy it, and I'd go through the motions, and I wouldn't feel anything for it, because I didn't feel anything for Reach. I played Reach, and it just kind of left me feeling kind of numb at the end. I didn't feel that. But this game, with the storyline between John and Cortana, it really affected me, and I got choked up towards the end. And I honest to God, can't wait for 5. It's going to be on the next system, of course. But if 343 can maintain what they've done with this game, then Halo 5 is a system seller for me, without a doubt. I don't know. I gotta sit down and think where this is going to fall in place with the rest of the 2012 releases, but don't be surprised if this is not very high, because I am super, super surprised at how fucking amazing this game is. If you're on the fence about picking this up, just go do it, because honest to God, Halo's never been this good. So that's it for this. I'm gonna go. I don't know if I'm going to put in Deadly Premonition yet or go back upstairs. Wife and I have been watching Sons of Anarchy, so we might go up there and watch some more of that. But, yeah, Halo 4. Go buy it. The reviews, I mean, all the reviews are right. All the hype, it's worth it. It really is. I am so impressed with Halo 4 and 343 Industries. So, that is it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.